What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Phaithful Phanatics Show. As always, I am your host, Dylan Davis, and today I'm joined by two very frequent guests, one being my co-host here on the show, Matt McGinty. Give him a follow on Twitter at Matt_McGinty, and one of the co-founders here with myself and Gint at DSM Media, Scotty. Please give him a follow at Scotty Drowned on Twitter. And of course, if you're not already, give us here at DSM Media a follow on Twitter at DSM_media. DSM Media is now brought to you by Manscaped, who is best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their fourth-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code DSM at manscaped.com. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their fourth-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. This upgraded trimmer includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. And did I mention the wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Get 20% off and free shipping with our code DSM at manscaped.com. Again, that is 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using promo code DSM. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. And gentlemen, once again, my balls were kicked up into my stomach after an Eagles game. So waiting for them to come back down before I can use any of my new Manscaped products. But how are you guys feeling today?
Better, maybe.
Better? Are you sure?
I don't know. Like, who knows what to feel in this city, man?
Yeah, man. I'm trying, I'm trying a different route this week where I'm not overreacting. I'm not,
I'm disappointed in you.
Getting irrational. After last week, I got a little irrational after the Cowboys L in Dallas. I found that one to be a lot more embarrassing than yesterday's, loss. Another loss on the books already, but we'll definitely get into it.
Yeah, again, you're feeling a little bit better, Scotty. You're trying to be a little bit more rational, and I'm trying. I'm not mad that they lost the game. I didn't go into yesterday thinking they were going to win the game on Turf Talk. Scotty and I, we picked them to lose yesterday's game. At no point did, it feel like they could win this game or they deserved to win this game. But I can't continue to sit here and watch this team shoot themselves in the foot. Dude, I've never seen this before. I've been watching sports for about 2 decades, going on 2 decades close to. And I've never seen a team not be able to get out of their own way. It's unbelievable the amount of mental mistakes, the undiscipline continues to show week in and week out. And obviously, we're going to talk about everything that went wrong in yesterday's game. Now, there were some positives, more positives to take away than we could from the Dallas game, which was an outstanding 0. So, a few is better than none against Dallas. But nonetheless, it was still hard to watch. Like, I didn't enjoy yesterday. I wasn't sitting back like, oh, they look good. Like, they look better. Like, they're fun today. Well, the offense looked good, but my God, dude, this defense, which after week 1 and 2, we were like, oh, we got something a little bit on defense. The hell we do. What do they give up? 83 points the last 2 weeks?
Ready for my stat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I gave you the stat last week that the Eagles committed more penalties and got first down. So
yeah,
my stat of the week this week, Eagles gave up back-to-back 40-point games for 4th time in franchise history this week.
Dude, they're all about breaking personal records this year. None of which are positive. Not a single personal record they're on pace or have already broken is a good record to break. And again, that all comes back to coaching, and that's one big negative we're going to get into. But Scott, maybe let's start with the positives this week, and then we'll work our way down and just become more depressed, as I like to do here on the Phaithful Phanatics Show with Gint. Talk to me about Jalen Hurts. Obviously, looked much, much better in week 4 than he did week 3 in Dallas. What did you see from the kid? What did you like? Any dislikes? Obviously, we saw that growth we were looking for from week to week from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so first of all, I just wanted to touch on what you said about, the Eagles defense before week 3. Man, how bad are the Falcons? How bad is the Falcons offense that we held them to 6 points? Like, how bad are they? I need to know that. And I think I don't know what happened to them yesterday. That's beside the point. Jalen Hurts, obviously better yesterday. There's still a few throws in there, specifically that first one to Ertz that he missed. That was pretty ugly. He did have Chris Jones in his face, so you give him a break there. He is still technically a rookie. But 387 yards, still throwing the ball way too much, 48 passing attempts, 32 completions. You like to see that. But I do like that there wasn't any turnovers this game. Now, there were some situations where there could have been some turnovers. There was one really bad decision in the first half. I think he was trying to get it to Rager. The ball hit the ground. It was originally called a pick. It got turned around or reversed. And then the fumble, I'm not sure exactly whose fault that was. I think it was the snapper there. But
thank God the ref got in the way.
Whatever the hell was going on that play. But overall, a pretty clean game for Jalen Hurts. Making quicker decisions, going to he was dumping the ball off a lot quicker this game, which I thought was impressive. Just simple plays, right? Just getting the ball out to Dallas Goedert in the flat, getting the ball out to Gainwell in the flat. So just those simple things, making quick decisions. Looked like he was processing his reads a little bit better this game as well. How bad is the Kansas City Chiefs defense, though? That's kind of where I'm at with that. But you do got to give him some credit in this game. He looked a lot better. He looked a lot more calm and confident. So I do give him props. He definitely showed the growth from week 3.
Yeah, I mean, the entire offense looked better. Kansas City's defense is a problem. Now their offense is on another level over the course of, I forget, the last 2 weeks or whatever, even though they lost. Last week was the Chargers loss for them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But their offense is up here and their defense is not championship contender type D right now. So they do have some stuff to figure out in KC. But Gint, what did you see from Jalen Hurts? Likes, dislikes, and that growth that we've been looking to see for?
Yeah, no, Scotty said it well. He looked more poised than week 2, or I should say week 3 in Dallas. We talk about all season his improvements, and that's the biggest thing. And he looks like he's making some improvements. The footwork still needs to be improved. A really good tweet I saw was, I'd at this point rather see Jalen Hurts step up to the pocket and get sacked one time than rather see this guy just 1-2 and I'm out. It's kind of that step is what we're looking for, in my opinion. But like Scotty said, 387 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. The improvement was there. Obviously, the red zone needs to be shored up. The ball he threw 6 rows deep on Zach Ertz in the first possession can't happen. But especially against Kansas City Chiefs, can't kick field goals against them. But I guess I'm definitely more pleased than week 3. I don't want to say I'm pleased because they didn't win, and I want to win. Who doesn't want to win? So I'll give him a B if I had to give a ranking, maybe a B- because we lost.
Yeah, I mean, here are the numbers like you guys have already touched on. 32 of 48, 387 passing, 2 tutties on a 5.1 rating, over 400 all-purpose yards behind a really makeshift offensive line, missing 4 of its 5 starters. Lane Johnson for personal reasons, and something's off with that because Lane Johnson doesn't miss games for the most part unless it's serious. We remember him last year in a poor season trying to battle through an ankle injury. So you find out that you're missing him. You're already down Brooks. You're down Mailata. You're down Sayamalo. The fact that Jalen Hurts was able to put up those type of numbers, the fact that the offense was able to move the ball at will down the field. Kansas City didn't punt, but neither did the Eagles. They just couldn't convert at the end of drives, and we'll get into that in a little bit. The only mistakes he made were the missed throw to Ertz on the first possession. I know people were ripping Greg Ward on that one drop in the end zone. Just put it on him next time. That's a growing pain. The almost INT that Scotty said. And again, I think you touched on it a little bit, but someone tell the kid, dude, when it's 4th down, just do something. Like throwing the ball away on 4th down does nothing. We saw Greg Ward do it in week 2 against the Niners. Stop throwing the ball out the back of the end zone or out, to the sideline on 4th down. Like just try to do something, try to make a play, try to use your legs more. But he looked really good.
You have to wonder if that is like something that is stemming from like watching Carson Wentz last year and like just watching him turn the ball over in those situations.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on 4th down. That's not the time to throw the ball in like the back of the end.
No, it's not. Like just try to do something, bro. You throw a pick as long like
And the other thing, man, and I know what Gint was talking about when he was explaining it. It's when he like crumbles in the pocket. I cannot stand that shit.
Oh.
Stand
Are you
up.
talking about like the 360, the 180 he does in the pocket?
Yeah, I cannot stand that shit.
I'm telling you now, that is going to stop when he turns around and gets his freaking head blasted off his shoulders. Yeah. It's going to happen one of these times because he panics, does like a 180, turns around, hand on the ground, get up. Like it looks great when it works. One of these times, my dude, you're gonna turn around and spin, and you're gonna get your shit rocked. And
it's like when
he's gonna inhale.
It's like when Carson used to try to duck every tackle. It's not going to work every time. When it happens, it looks really cool, but man, like one of these times, you're just going to get flat.
Like, oh, this worked once. Let me try it again. Like, no, dude, relax.
Yeah. So all in all, Jalen Hurts looked really good. The numbers were there. The offense moved the ball, like I said, at will. I really don't have, outside of the few little mistakes that he can clean up, it was a very, very good performance from Jalen Hurts and this offense. Let's work our way down the list. Next, let's get to Nick Sirianni, his game plan, his play calling, his preparations this week. We'll finish up with the trash defensive performance we saw. But Nick Sirianni was much better in week 3. He was able to move the ball down the field. He was able to put the ball in the end zone a little bit more. He got the tight ends involved. He got back to kind of what we saw a little bit against Atlanta with the quick hitters, the screen game, getting the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands quickly. So, like I said, it's really hard to criticize Nick Sirianni when the offense was moving the ball the way they were able to. It's hard to really complain about the run game when the RPOs and all that stuff was effective. So it's really hard to nitpick in that scenario. But again, it's not a recipe. It's not a recipe for success when your quarterback is your lead rusher every week. That's not a recipe for success. Definitely not with this team. His red zone play calls continue to be questionable. And that's where I'll throw it to you guys. What did you see from Nick Sirianni in this game? And then at the end of the first drive, Scotty, I know we talked about this a little bit pre-show, but what the hell went on in his mind? And I don't know if he was asked about it in the post-game press conference, but like, you get a 4th and 3, you line up to go for it on 4th down, delay of game's incoming, so you call the timeout, and then you trot the field goal unit out onto the field. Dude, why not just eat the 5 yards? It's a chip shot field goal. Why not just keep the timeout, preserve the timeout, and eat the 5 yards on the field goal? It's just little things like that where it's like, okay, he's just not fully prepared for this job yet, it seems like.
I'll let you go first, Gint.
Yeah, that was mind-boggling, what you just mentioned about the field goal. But something I liked from Nick Sirianni was he made Jalen Hurts' life easy. I was looking at Jalen Hurts' pass chart, and a lot inside 10 yards, getting the ball out of his hands, kind of getting him through these growing pains, if that makes sense. And by doing that, just getting the ball out of his hands, like Scotty alluded to earlier, getting it to Goddard in the flat, getting it to Kenny G, who I never once talked bad about.
Yeah. Your Canadian football player, Kenny Gainwell.
But no, I think Nick Sirianni called a good game. Again, we talk about improvements between the head coach and the quarterback. I think from the Dallas game, there was improvements because the Dallas game is probably the floor of any football game we'll see this season. So. Yeah, no, you saw some improvements. Still needs to run the ball a lot more, to say the least. I don't know if him and Miles Sanders don't get along or something, but it's mind-boggling that this guy seems to not be able to get a touch. But I'll give him a C+, maybe a B-. But that's kind of where I'm at with Sirianni.
Yeah, I mean, we're not suggesting that if you ran the ball against Kansas City, you would have won the game. If you ran the ball against Dallas, you would have won the game. But, dude, Kenny Gainwell, 3 carries, 31 yards. Miles Sanders, 7. Again, Jalen Hurts leading your team in carries and yards. That's not a recipe for success. Scott, you said it earlier. Him throwing the ball 48 times is not a recipe for success. So tell me what you saw from Nick Sirianni.
So, Gint really hit it on the head there. Overall, play calling, I wasn't too upset with. Specifically, the red zone is what bothers me. When you get down there and you don't even attempt to run the football, that really pisses me off. I don't know if it was the first or the second trip to the red zone where he tries that swing pass play to Miles Sanders.
Oh my God.
Oh
They
my
lost
God.
they lost 4
Delete
yards.
that play.
They had first and goal at the 3 and then lost 4 yards on the play.
And it's like that's him. That's when he's talking about the RPO's extended running game, or those swing passes or extended running game. Hell no! Like just run the ball up the middle. Like that's where I'm at.
You mean like when they ran it to Kenny G?
Yeah, the way Kenny G ran straight up the.
I mean, holy shit! Look what happens. Look what happens when you run between the tackles from 5 to 10.
And the thing with Miles Sanders, we talked about it a little bit before we hopped on here, and it seems like he's dancing behind the line of scrimmage. He's not hitting the hole. Part of me wonders if he's just trying to break off that big play because he's just not gonna. He's scared he's not gonna get the ball again. So he's like, I got to break off a 90-yarder right here, or I might not get the ball the rest of the game. So I don't know if that's kind of getting into his head to where he's not even picking his spots correctly now. But anytime you have a player if that is the case, if he's getting in his own head, if he's just not getting enough carries to get a feel for the game, anytime you have that, that's not great coaching. Let's be honest. Miles Sanders he should be an incremental part of this offense, and he just simply hasn't been that, and that's unacceptable. As Gant mentioned as well, I did like how he got my other 2 favorite skill players on the team involved as far as Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith. He got them, implemented very well in that game. Best game, I said it on Twitter, best game I've seen from a wide receiver since week 5 last year, Travis Fulgham. What you expect with Devontae Smith, it's going to be a little bit more consistent, right? Like Travis Fulgham was, that 3 to 5 week wonder that came through last season. I'm hoping Devontae Smith can be, here for years doing that type of work. So it's good to see that. And then, yeah, that was like the positive. I mean, the penalties, man. Like a lot of that has to go on Sirianni. Discipline in reality. You go out there, you see Derek Barnett, which I'm sure we'll get into him when we get to the defense. Dude's a moron, right? Like I can't deal with that guy anymore. But just like the illegal man downfield, like come on, we've seen this how many times this season? The false starts, the delay of game. Like you mentioned, it's 4th and 3 on that first drive in the red zone. Why are we even getting down that far in the clock? Like the play should be in, we should be ready to go. And then the holding, the offensive line, that does play a part of it. 4 of the 5 starters are missing, so I know that plays a part in it as far as inexperience and chemistry. But he's got to cut the penalties down. Like they're at an NFL record pace of penalties, and they're about to blow it like out of the water. And that just can't happen. Those are the things. Those are like the foundational things that you want to see. Like at least they don't get a lot of penalties as a young head coach, young quarterback. Like that has to get fixed immediately.
Well, where it rubs me the wrong way is when he comes into this position, he becomes the head coach, and he wants to preach fundamentals. I want to get back to the fundamentals. Pretty sure 90% of your penalties are fundamental based right now. So yeah, it's a huge issue. Look, let me ask you guys this before we do get to the discipline and the penalties and that portion of Nick Sirianni and this Eagles team yesterday. When it comes to execution and finishing drives, because like I said, the Eagles didn't punt yesterday either, like the Chiefs didn't. But the Eagles weren't able to finish drives. They came away with more field goals than we would have liked to see. They had drives stall out once they got inside like the 10 or 20-yard line of the Kansas City Chiefs. Does that come down? What do you guys see when you're watching that? Because I can't get a feel for it. Is it the fact that they just, they're young, they don't have the personnel, or is Nick Sirianni like shrinking up when he gets inside the red zone and his playbook just shrinks up and it's more so on him than it is the actual execution of the plays?
I think it's got to be a mix of both, especially with personnel. I mean, you look at Jalen Hurts, again, throw a ball 5 rows deep to Zach Ertz in the first possession. That should have been a touchdown. Whether you want to blame Jalen Hurts or Greg Ward, that should have been a touchdown. J-Jaw lead blocks for Zach Ertz for a touchdown. So it's kind of a mix between discipline, and the playbook probably does shrink up a little bit, and your quarterback missing a couple throws or a drop. So it's kind of a mix. all in all, I don't even know what to call it. I guess it's player discipline, but in a way, it's all kind of contributing to one big problem, as you saw yesterday.
I think that's my biggest issue is because we still don't know. Like before the season started, we wanted to find out the identity of this team, what we would know about this team. And through 4 weeks, when we're having this conversation about, is it execution? Is it the play calling? Is it execution or is it the play calling? When we get inside the red zone, and I don't freaking know. It's to your point, Gint, it's both. And that's not a good thing. Like it should be one or the other. And the fact that it's both and they're piling up to empty possessions and 3 instead of 6 points, that's a problem. You weren't going to beat the Chiefs kicking field goals. You knew that going into the game, and you shot yourselves in your own foot way too many times inside the red zone. If I had to say my stance on the two, I would say inside the 10, I think it's more so of a Nick Sirianni issue. When you're seeing not running between the tackles, when you're seeing against San Fran running Zach Ertz as the only option to the right side of the field on a rollout, like the swing toss to Miles Sanders, right? Like that's Nick Sirianni. Inside the red zone, I think you're seeing a lack of execution between Jalen Hurts' accuracy and this offensive line. I didn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
I said the Philly special.
Yeah. Like, so inside the 10, first and goal type of situations, I think it's more so the play calling and Nick Sirianni. Inside the red zone, I think like inside the one between the 20 and 10, 25 and 10, I think it's more so the execution. They've also had a lot. Speaking of penalties, every time the Eagles get a first and goal inside the 10, the first play is a penalty. Every time is a penalty. And now it's first and goal from the 12. Now it's first and goal from the 16. Now it's first and goal from the 11. It's guys, can we cut the shit out? Like they had first and goal at the 1 against San Fran, and the first play was initially a penalty, and boom, back to the 6. So it's bad. Scotty, what do you think? Is it more so the play calling shrinking up, or is it the execution of this offensive line and the quarterback?
I agree with, but I think it's a mix of both, honestly. Execution, whether it's Jalen Hurts, whether it's the offensive line committing a penalty, whether it's Jay Chaw down the field doing his best blocking attempt before the ball's even in the air, whatever the case may be, there's a lack of execution. But then the penalties, you mentioned it. As soon as we get down there, they're already getting moved back. My thing is, why does it feel like some of the skill players like disappear in the red zone? Like Devontae Smith, does he ever get a look in the red zone? Like it's like he's not involved in the game plan inside the red zone. He's your best route runner. Like he's the guy that can get open against one-on-one coverage. So I don't understand that type of stuff. We never see like a high contested ball to Dallas Goedert. I find that very weird because he's a guy.
Now that you say that, inside the 25, I feel like I've only seen a check down to a back or the tight ends involved. I haven't seen Devontae Smith be targeted. I haven't seen Quez Watkins or Jalen Reagor be a threat. I've seen Greg Ward catch more balls in the red zone than I had the first 3 wide receivers on this roster.
It's like Greg Ward is the red zone weapon or something. Like I don't understand it. And so many times when they're on these passing plays and he's rolling out and he just throws it in the back of the end zone, like it's like he doesn't have any options there. Whereas you saw like Dak Prescott on Monday Night Football, guys are still getting open in the back of the end zone, and Dak just throws a bullet in there and boom, touchdown. Well, so I don't understand that with Jalen Hurts creating more time with his legs that guys just can't get open in the end zone. It's like, is every defense that much better than ours? I don't know. And then the other thing, before I forget about it, with Jalen Hurts, he's definitely going to have to work on that rolling out left and being able to throw because they did that to him all day yesterday. Blitz in the right side.
Well, that's where that almost interception came left.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to have to work heavily on that because that's going to be an easy defensive scheme to draw up for every defense in the NFL.
So I don't know if you guys saw, but Nick Sirianni's press conference was on a little bit ago, and he talked about those scrambles. Yeah. And he said he would like to see more big plays off of scrambles because what he's seeing and what they're seeing so far is when Jalen is good at extending plays and creating with his legs, and when he gets outside the pocket, no one's getting open. Like, put it this way, with the Chiefs, right? Now, obviously, we don't have Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, but with the Chiefs, when Mahomes extends plays and Mahomes is outside the pocket, it's like schoolyard ball. Like, they're just, now they get to do whatever they want, right? They're getting open. What he was alluding to is the guys aren't finding a way to get open when Jalen's
stop running the route
inside the pocket. Exactly. It's almost like, oh, well, there goes Jalen. Yeah, and just stopping and watching it, and that's an issue as well.
You need a veteran wide receiver, man. We talked about that before the season. Just somebody to show them, those intangibles. Like after the play seems dead, keep running around, try to get open, to help your quarterback out.
And now let's get to the penalty segment.
Real quick, let me jump in.
Go ahead.
Jump in with that wide receiver question. I just see so many teams with wide receivers, and it's probably based off fantasy football a ton, where it's like these guys don't get touches, and I'm like, he would be our second best wide receiver. We need him. Like just for instance, like the 3 down in Miami, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller. Like Devontae Parker, he scored yesterday, but prior to that, like, I love Devontae Parker. We just instead, Greg Ward is our red zone option.
He's a veteran wide receiver. It's odd, man.
Crazy.
Washington has someone that they picked up this all season.
Curtis Samuel. I really
no, it's not him. It's the white dude.
Humphreys.
Yeah. Adam Humphries. It's like Adam Humphries would be the second best wide receiver on this team right now. Like
he finds his spots. He's like,
we don't have that at all. But all right, let's get into the penalty portion of this show. Before we get into some of the positive takeaways and this defense. But this all comes back to execution and Nick Sirianni. But guys, I've never seen anything like this. It's the fact that it's a topic every week, and every week you continue to do it when you're under that microscope. It's unbelievable. You had 3 touchdowns called back due to penalties. You had the Andre Dillard ineligible lineman downfield on the first one. Then you had Devontae Smith stepping out of bounds on the last one. You had the Jay Jaw pick play on the Ertz touchdown on 4th and goal. Josh Sweat jumps off sides on a 3rd and 6. That when the game was still in reach, gives the Chiefs a 3rd and 1. I mean, are the Chiefs not picking up the 3rd and 1? Like 3rd and 6, you had a little bit more of an opportunity to get off the field there. Derek Barnett commits another bonehead, dirty penalty that gives the Chiefs a 1st down. Andre Dillard committed more penalties yesterday than the number on the back of his jersey, for God's sake. I mean, they can't get out of their own way. Even after the Eric Wilson interception that sets you up around midfield or Kansas City's 45, the Eagles commit 3 penalties on that possession. 3. Guys, you can't pick off Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on their 40 and have 3 offensive penalties on one drive. For God's sake, that same possession, the Chiefs commit a penalty on the field goal try, give you a 4th down opportunity at the 3-yard line, you go for it, and you commit another damn penalty. Like, they can't get out of their own way. Dude, and it's like, I'm getting frustrated watching it, and this isn't a penalty, but it's like, I kept saying they literally can't get out of their own way. Quez Watkins comes out of the end zone to catch a kickoff, drops it, kicks it off his foot. I'm like, oh my God, they seriously cannot get out of their own way. The fumble at the end of the first half cannot get out of their own way when they would have put up points on that possession. I've never seen anything like it. But the bottom line, that comes down to coaching. Yes, it's ultimately down to the players, but coaching plays a huge role in football more than any other sport. I think we can all agree to that, right? Coaching play in football is way more important than any of the other major sports. And when you lack discipline like this on a weekly basis, when you preach fundamentals, that's a big time problem to me. So like I said, did I expect them to win that game? Hell no. Should they ever have won that game? Hell no. But I'm not going to sit here and watch you be so undisciplined week in and week out. It's really getting too frustrating where like games, even where I have no hope for a win, I'm like, are you guys like, you're making me pull my hair out. So I got nothing left to say. I'm worn out.
It was a bit stressful to watch that game and just see how many opportunities they blew. Like they had so many chances. Like you didn't even hit on the fumble that the Chiefs had on the kickoff, right? That just bounced out of bounds. There was just so many like opportunities to have a big swing in that game. And you mentioned something that really just sparked my mind. Like the return game is just still just dismal.
Oh, it's horrible.
We thought we had like explosive players in like Quez Watkins, Jalen Rager. Wes Watkins out there dropping the ball off his foot on a kick return.
Jalen Reagor runs backwards every other punt return.
Jalen Reagor walks backwards and then like does a spin move and gets tripped up. Like it is dismal, man. And that plays a huge factor. We need like some type of playmaking back there. You look at it like a Washington football team. They had a kick return yesterday from DeAndre Carter. It's like those things can make a difference down the stretch. So it would be nice to see somebody that's competent at that for once. But, as far as the penalties, there's no excuses. You can pull out, I talked about it earlier, the 4 out of 5 starting line. You got to just do your job. Like this is not something that was learned overnight. Like as an offensive lineman, you've been playing offensive lineman for a while now. If you're in the NFL, you got to know when the ball is snapped, that's when you go. Like, the snap count. Like that stuff doesn't make sense. Run pass options. Like, dude, stop going downfield. I
think the bigger issue is the timing of these penalties too, dude. They're drive stallers. They're momentum killers. Like you can't get inside the 10-yard line, inside the 15-yard line, and continue to have false starts or an illegal man downfield or whatever the case may be, or an illegal pick play. Like, it's unbelievable.
The Chiefs, man, they gave them so many opportunities to not win the game because, like I was telling you guys before the show, even if the Eagles score in those situations,
right,
I think
the Chiefs are just going to go
score 7.
The bottom line is at least
give yourself a chance.
Give yourself a chance. At least let us know that happened.
So many things happened yesterday where I was like, well, there's no chance. Like, you know what I mean? From the first drive, I'm like, oh, well, he missed Zach Ertz on that wide open throw. Not a chance they can win this game. You know what I mean? Like, it's just as it goes going on, like, not a chance. Like, you definitely needed to make that play if you wanted a chance. And the sad part about the first half is, like, if they call that Kenneth Gainwell fumble at the goal line, we don't have any touchdowns in the first half, I feel like. So, they got to clean it up, man, all around. It's like if it's not one thing, it's the other. If they're not dropping a pass, then they're committing a penalty. Yeah. If they're not dropping an interception, then they're going off sides. Like they just.
Again, I'm going to get you in here now too, but the bottom line is, and like think on this as well. They did put up 30 points, and as good as the offense looked, and they moved the ball at will, the total lack of execution. Realistically, they put up 23 points. If we're being honest, the scoreboard shows 30. They put up 23, and the Greg Ward touchdown with 9 seconds left or whatever happened, right? So it's like
garbage time star.
Exactly. It's like as good as 30 looked, and as good as the offense was able to move the ball, just way too many times you shot yourselves in the own foot moving the ball down the field. But go ahead, Gint.
No, I mean you guys are pretty much covered. It's just like you said, definitely coaching. I think also the shuffling of the offensive line every game doesn't help anything, even though you can't use that as an excuse because they're on pace to break every record ever in terms of penalties. So you can't even and it's not one guy, it's everyone. It's literally everyone from Andre Dillard being downfield.
Yeah, but he stuck out way more than anyone else.
Yesterday for sure. But even against the Cowboys, Lane Johnson holding, like,
bro, J-Jaw grabbing jerseys, like it's everyone. And the biggest thing is like, obviously, Derek Barnett's a main culprit as well, as you saw when Nick Sirianni said. Literally, camera on him. It's always him. What are you doing? Like, I don't know how to word this without saying, like, if LeBron gets a technical, it's okay. It's LeBron.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If Udonis Haslem gets a technical, like, it's not okay. You can't. You got to be doing something else. You
mean like when Dwight Howard had 9,000 tackles?
Dwight Howard's getting ejected back-to-back games. It's like, J-Jaw, that's fine. If a penalty happens, but are you going to go catch a touchdown to
exactly,
make up for this thing? Because that ain't happening.
Or as the second round,
special teams, bro.
As a former second round wide receiver draft pick, are you going to catch more balls than you have tackles in a game? Like,
yes,
like, my dude. Do something else. I don't care that you were what is it? PFF
blocking wide receiver.
Yeah, or that you're good on special teams. Like
that's not your primary job.
No.
But yeah, I mean, like you guys said, until it changes, they're going to struggle to win games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Not much more to say on it.
It feels like even if they put themselves in a chance to win that game yesterday, down the stretch they would commit a penalty or do something stupid that would lose the game. They're like turning into that joke of a team, like right before our eyes. They're a walking joke right now with the lack of discipline. Like that's like you said at the beginning. That's fundamentals. That's the foundation of a good team. We don't even have that.
You know why it's such a huge issue though? Because you know that obviously the numbers tell them penalty-wise how they're doing. But you know they also hear everything on the outside of how it's coming across and how undisciplined they are, right? Nationally and locally. So what are you doing throughout the week? So obviously you would assume they're drilling that through your head. So A, either you're not doing that and you're just that's not a point of focus, or B, you're focusing on it and you're not getting through. Yeah. Your coaching isn't getting through. You're not showing it on the field.
The 1% is not pertaining to preventing penalties. That is better. Sure. Rent is late on the penalties.
And the thing about Derek Barnett, man, like it's similar to what Gint said. It's like what positive did he do in the game yesterday? And it's like to the point where he gets a penalty or two a game. Like he can't even like stay away from the penalty. I swear he would get a penalty on the sideline. Like
if I was a reporter and like Derek Barnett came to the podium, I would love to just ask him. Like I just want to know the thought process. I just want to know like what went through your mind in that moment that was a good idea. Or that the refs aren't going to see that and it's not going to kill your team. Like the Mahomes one, the shoving the 49er 8 years after the whistle was blown right in front of a ref out of bounds. I want to know like just what happened in your head that like that was the smart thing to do that play. Every week.
Did you see Mahomes after he like fell over Derek Barnett? Yeah. He just looked at him. He's like, "What the hell?" Like he's looking at Derek Barnett like, "What the hell are you doing?" And looks up at the ref, and the ref throws a flag, of course, because this dude's an idiot. Even if he was getting pushed into him, you saw him grab around the legs like a moron, like literally a moron, man. Like I told you this probably 2 or 3 weeks ago after the San Fran game. Like no bullshit, I would cut his ass.
Oh, like, for sure, no, for sure. But
I know money plays a part in it, but
money, the former first-round draft pick, he's not going anywhere. But there's no way he would still be on my team. You literally, as a former first-round draft pick, the next Reggie White from his alma mater. You have more career penalties than you have sacks.
I was literally just about to give you that stat.
And you are a detriment to your team most weeks. You do something negative more than you do positive. Why? Why are you still on my team, let alone starting for my team right now? But let's get on to the defensive side of the ball because it's not just him. Now, when it comes to bonehead mistakes, most of the time it's 96. But as far as making a play, Scotty, you just talked about it. What has he done? Let's be quite honest. What has anyone else done besides Javon Hargrave on this team? On this defense, I should say. I mean, my God, dude, let's just talk about it from yesterday. The Chiefs don't punt. The Chiefs score on 6 of 7 possessions out, and obviously the one being the Eric Wilson interception. The Chiefs don't just score on 6 of 7 possessions. The Chiefs score a touchdown on 6 of 7 possessions. The run defense has been getting gashed. I want to know, Scott, you and I had Jordan Elliott on the show on Turf Talk after the 49ers week. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but did he or did he not praise the Eagles' run defense for how well they slowed down and stopped the 49ers rushing attack, which is one of the better, schemed up rushing attacks in the league under Kyle Shanahan? He did, correct? Okay, and they looked really good week 1 against Atlanta outside the first 2 possessions. Yeah. In Dallas and now this week, dude, it's 6 yards, 8 yards, 5 yards, 11 yards, 9 yards, 15 yards. Every play, you know it's coming. I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm watching it coming, and it's happening, and you're letting them gash you. Ryan Kerrigan, I don't think, has a stat in 4 weeks. Fletcher Cox did not have a stat and was non-existent in yesterday's game. The linebackers are horrible. They let Tyreek Hill torch them. and I said this to you guys pre-show, and here's what I'll throw it to you. Stop talking. The broadcast, whoever the announcers are, I need to stop hearing about how the Eagles are taking away the big plays or taking away the chunk plays. It means nothing when a team can do whatever the hell they want to do against you. It means nothing. Oh, well, you didn't score a 75-yard touchdown, but you held on to the ball for 6 minutes, picked up 7 first downs, and rammed it down our throat for a touchdown. 6 possessions in a row. I'd rather you just score an 80-yard touchdown every possession. I mean, I really would. Like, and the last mistake by Gannon, all right, you tried to take away Travis Kelce instead of Tyreek Hill. That's a mistake. Now, I know it's Monday. I can say that now after we watched what happened, but it's the truth. If you have to take away one of them, you take away the dude that has the ability to catch an 80-yard touchdown. You take away the dude that can put up 11 catches for like 200 receiving yards and bombs of touchdowns. Yeah, can Travis Kelce put up major numbers against you? Yes, but Travis Kelce is going to be a lot of short and intermediate stuff. You don't allow Tyreek Hill to just beat you over the middle and over the top. Not to mention, they want to take away chunk plays. How many times did Tyreek Hill get behind the defense yesterday? So miss me. The system, I know they don't have the personnel to be a good defense, but the scheme needs an overall change too, because what's going on is simply not working.
Did you guys see that the Saints went 9 for 10 on third down yesterday? Not the Saints, sorry. The Chiefs. No. 9 for 10, highest mark since 2008 when the Saints had a higher mark against the 0-16 Detroit Lions. Like that, so that's a huge problem to start with. You can't get off the field on third down, and this isn't just against Patrick Mahomes. This has been all year. Yeah. Also, bone to pick out of the blue, but don't come tweet your stats after a loss like that. I love Darius Slay. Darius Slay deserves some blame, but WIP was lighting him up this morning. Yeah. But don't go doing that. There was no reason for that tweet yesterday, in my opinion. Right. But to allude to your point, there's just the personnel's not there. Javon Hargrave's the only guy that looks like he wants to play. Fletcher Cox looks so defeated. He looks like he doesn't want to be out there. There was a stat about how much he was double teamed. Well, Fletcher Cox used to run through those double teams. It's not really there anymore.
Here's something else that's wrong. Like Sirianni said it today on his press conference. Yeah, Fletch is getting double teamed. He didn't produce yesterday, but he's opening up, things for other people. Opening up things for who? Javon Hargrave's the only dude making a play. He's not opening anything up for Milton Williams. He's not opening anything up for Derek Barnett. He's not opening anything up for Kerrigan or Josh Sweat. If he was, I'm assuming they'd make a damn play in the backfield or stop it. Like, I get what I'm really bothered by the defense today, and I didn't mean to cut you off again.
No, you're good.
I totally understand the personnel isn't there. This defensive line, I refuse to believe that losing Brandon Graham is this much of a detriment to this team. I knew it would be a big blow, especially leadership-wise, but come on, guys. Like, I know the linebackers are terrible, and I know maybe I overvalue our secondary. If I'm being honest, I don't understand why our secondary would be an issue with Darius Slay, Ant Harris, Rodney McLeod coming back, and Steve Nelson, who we all love the signing. So it's like, I would hope that's not an issue. But when you can't stop the run now, if you can't stop the Kansas City Chiefs rushing attack, good night. Because Patrick Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns, I believe, and he hardly had to move the ball down the field because Clyde Edwards-Helaire gashed you for over 100. So I don't know, dude. It's very irritating. Like, you know how I said with the penalties, it's getting irritating walking into the week that it's a thing and then seeing it happen again. It's getting irritating knowing our run defense is about to be shit, knowing the team's about to run the ball, and then seeing them gash you for a 15-yard run, seeing them gash you for an 8-yard run on first down. Like, you're not going to beat anybody, let alone Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, if you can't, A, stop the run, and B, get off the field on third down, like you said, Gint.
Yeah, and then dating back to the improvement talk we had about Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, Jonathan Gannon showed no improvements whatsoever. And you can use personnel all you want in terms of an excuse, but like you just said, Dylan, the personnel isn't.
You gotta adjust.
We're on a I don't know if you guys ever been to Six Flags, but King to Ka in terms of the drop is quick. But yeah, can't get off the field on third down. But yeah, the linebackers. Alex Singleton was fun. He can't play. Clearly, he's
He
done.
tries
Yo,
hard.
Did
Yeah.
you see Alex Singleton come in 5 years after the play and light up Avonte Maddox?
Yes.
You guys saw that?
man. I
I
did.
don't know how Avonte Maddox doesn't have a
Tyreek
concussion.
Hill literally went over to Vontae Maddox and like helped him.
I would have gotten
like,
up
making
as
fun of Singleton.
Avonte Maddox, as your teammate. I would have grabbed you by the face mask and just simply asked, "What the F are you doing?" Bro,
Yeah,
he
man.
rocked his shit when the dude's already tackled to the ground. Here comes Alex Singleton flying into the play. Dude, they're so boneheaded. But to your point, speaking of Gannon, there's no adjustments. Like, whatever, dude. And that's an issue, right? What did we say last week about Sirianni? If plan A isn't there, does he have a plan B or C? Well, Gannon, it's coming across of this is his game plan. And if his game plan is not working, there isn't anything else to fall back on. He's not a dude. At that point against the Chiefs, I understand you're afraid of the big play threat, and I understand it's Patrick Mahomes. Did they blitz 2 times? They only rushed one extra person, I think 2 times in yesterday's ball game. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire is picking up 8 yards after 8 yards after 8 yards on first down, I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes. I'm putting 2 linebackers in the box. I'm bringing a safety down to fill a hole. I'm doing something. I'm throwing a different look at the Chiefs rather than shotgun, draw, 15 yards, shotgun, draw, 8 yards, shotgun, draw, Tyreek Hill, touchdown. I said it to you guys before the show. He really tried to put Eric Wilson man-to-man against Tyreek Hill inside the 10-yard line. Well, personnel or no personnel, in what world do you throw a linebacker on Tyreek Hill man-to-man inside the 10-yard line, let alone anywhere on the field? It's mind-boggling to me. And did you guys see the linebacker shift? Did I miss that, or am I thinking of something else? But I'm almost positive at later in the game he did a full linebacker shift. He shifted out 2 or 3 for another. Sean Bradley, TJ Edwards, and someone else came in as linebacker. And the announcers talked about it. I'm almost positive that happened. But it's a mess right now, dude. But go ahead, Scott.
I can't even blame them for doing that with how bad they were playing. You just got to try something different. Jannard Avery, can he get some reps at the edge rusher position? Can he blitz a little bit? Try something different. Because, the thing about this Eagles defense is that it does all start with the front 7, and specifically the defensive line. That was supposed to be their stronghold of the team in reality. The offensive line is the defensive line. And, it is crazy. I think we don't want to believe it, but Brandon Graham, I think, is the biggest part of that defense. It's crazy to think about. But I just think back to week 1, who made the play in the backfield when the Atlanta Falcons were driving on that first possession? Brandon Graham. He made the run stop, stuffed him behind the line. It's he's always there. It's not the entire defense, but on those third downs when you need a big play, Brandon Graham was that guy that goes out there and gets it. I'm thinking of a 3rd and 12 play where the edge rushers just simply don't do their job, and that's keeping containment.
Oh,
close.
The one I texted you on.
Patrick Mahomes waddles on out to the left and just runs for a 3rd and 12.
Hey,
Javon
Hargrave trivia for you guys. Would you guys like to take a guess at who that edge rusher was that didn't keep contained?
I would guess Derek Barnett.
You'd be correct on that guess. It was number 96.
He was swinging for somebody's ankles.
And I was looking at the stats, right? And it's just crazy to me. Avonte Maddox has more QB hits, more sacks than Fletcher Cox. He has half a sack, right? Fletcher Cox has 0 QB hits, 0 tackles for losses. I mean, Javon Hargrave is the only player on the defense that is productive. Productive.
I hope I'm wrong.
Good.
I hope I'm wrong. And this isn't me shit talking Fletch, because he's honestly probably one of my favorite Eagles of all time. Watching him in his prime, he was dominant. Maybe the best defensive tackle in all football, type dominant. I think he's done, dude. He's kind of been on that downward trend for the last couple of years, and we've been throwing the double team, out there as an excuse for him. And it's he doesn't have another guy next to him, and they tried to be Malik Williams, they tried to be Timmy Jernigan, and he just keeps getting double teamed. I think he's done at this point. The fact that you don't have a number in a box score and you're the team's best defensive player, that's a huge issue
Yeah, he's not the team's best defensive player anymore. That is Javon Hargrave by a mile. And, I was just looking. He has 5 sacks already this season, which is just insane that our defensive line's been that bad with him on it. You talk about Fletcher Cox and the double teams. When are the teams not already throwing the double teams at Javon Hargrave? So, yeah, I'm with you. It's sad to see it happen. You wonder is it Javon Hargrave feeding off Cox? I don't believe that myself. I think Javon Hargrave's just a monster. But, Fletcher Cox, I'm with you. He's one of my favorite players ever, and we're kind of seeing him. It's been the last, 3 years we've seen him go down this downward slope.
Yeah.
And, Josh Sweat gets the contract. You mentioned it earlier.
He's done anything.
He keeps getting sacks on plays that don't count. Like that, they simply don't count. He got a big contract.
Like said, jumps off sides every other play.
Jumps off sides. We give an extension to Jordan Mailata, and he's out for the next 2 games. Like, I'm so
dude, it's a mess. But listen, we do it. Let's wrap this up with a couple small positives that we can take away, because my man Scotty's got to go host Scotty Talks NBA coming up live here on DSM Media in just a few minutes when we hop off of here. But some positives, we talked about Jalen Hurts, obviously a major positive in yesterday's loss. Javon Hargrave, we've talked about, the best defensive player on this team through 4 weeks, best defensive player yet again yesterday against the Chiefs, up to 5 sacks, career high 6.5. He's going to smoke that record. He's going to smoke his career high, I would hope. So he's obviously a positive. Kenny Gainwell, we mentioned already, looks like he has some juice. Was really effective in the passing game yesterday out of the backfield. So that was good to see. The tight ends being a threat. Obviously, Dallas Goedert catching a touchdown over 50 yards. Zach Ertz, 5 or 6 catches for 60-some yards. Would have had a touchdown if it wasn't for a penalty calling it back. So having them involved. And then obviously, our first round draft pick of this past year, Devontae Smith, was a star on Sunday versus the Chiefs. 7 receptions for 122 yards. Scotty, I think you tweeted out earlier. Imagine if he doesn't step out of bounds and that touchdown counts. You're talking over 150 receiving yards, 160 receiving yards, and a big time touchdown to make the game a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter. The kid was constantly open. The kid made some contested catches. The route running, the footwork, the hands, they were all on full display. And it was really good to see that. I think that was probably my biggest takeaway, more so than Jalen Hurts' numbers, Javon Hargrave. I think watching Devontae Smith finally have that star type of performance was really good to see. And hopefully him and Jalen Hurts can continue to build off of that going forward. Did I miss anything?
No, I thought, just more.
The punter looked good again. Oh wait, he didn't touch the field.
He's a baller.
It must have been nice to be that punter yesterday, man. That paycheck looked great for doing nothing.
No, but Jalen Hurts, though, there was one throw that stuck out to me. I think it was to Ertz. He kind of put it on a string there. That was like the first really impressive throw. It went through a couple Chiefs defenders, but ultimately, I thought the offense, outside of the penalties, outside of the red zone, those are huge factors, by the way. They're huge detractors. So, outside of those, the offense looked a lot better. And if they can clean up the penalties, I do think they, this is looking forward. I do think they have a chance against the Panthers. Panthers defense is light years ahead of Kansas City, so I'm not going to sit there and say that they're going to come out and drop 30.
Listen, we are not the Cowboys offense, but someone pointed this out earlier. The Panthers haven't played anybody yet. And now you watch them play a formidable offense, and the Cowboys move the ball up and down the field. Yeah. So maybe that defense isn't as good as we were thinking. Obviously, if CMC's still out, you were 100% correct. That is a winnable game.
Yeah, but, as far as just Jalen Hurts, you saw the improvements that you wanted to see from him. But I'm taking it with a grain of salt. I decided after week 3 – I'm not going to overreact, and I'm not, either way. So I'm not going to overreact and say, oh, Jalen Hurts is the guy. I would see people pulling out the 8 games starter stats. It's like, how many of those games did he lose? That plays into a part of that, of those stats.
How much of those numbers are in garbage time?
Say he's not the guy, right, either. I'm not going to do that until the end of the season, and we'll make a decision then. But taking it with a grain of salt each week, just want to see him keep improving. You'll get a better test, I would say, than the Kansas City Chiefs next week. Let's see if he can do it again, or at least play in the same category. Like, again, graded him earlier with like a B-, a B.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can get that grade again or better against the Panthers, and just keep it moving. But the penalties, man, it is hard to think past them. You know what I mean? As far as positives, because you would have had more positives without the penalties. And that is really what restricts this game from being a total success, even as a loss, is just simply the penalties. So next week, maybe don't get 10 penalties in the game. Improve.
Well, it's very telling. Maybe. Listen, to wrap it up here, yes, there were more positives take away than there were last week. The offense, what did we say? We don't expect them to beat the Chiefs, but the offense has to look better. Hurts has to perform better. Sirianni has to perform better. They did. But when you speak on penalties and lack of discipline and lack of preparation, that comes down to coaching, and they have to be hammering it throughout the week. And that just means your message isn't getting across. They're young. They're raw. It's 4 weeks. I'm not saying it's going to continue. But if it does, that's
take money out of their checks. There's got to be. We got to start putting incentives in these penalties, man.
Something.
Yeah. Eric Barnett commits a penalty. The game check stripped.
Yeah, something. Seriously though.
At least an unnecessary penalty. At least one of those. But yeah, man, I'm with you. And obviously throughout this week, keep it tapped in right here on the Phaithful Fanatics show at 5 p.m. with myself and Gint. Moving forward to this Carolina game, we're going to break that down as the week goes on. The Sixers and Flyers are back in action. The Phillies just wrapped up their 162-game season. So this week is looking to be a busy week right here on the Phaithful Fanatics show. Very busy week again on DSM Media, of course. Like I said, right after we get off in a few minutes, Scotty will be going live on Scotty Talks NBA, getting you ready for the Sixers' upcoming season and the Eastern and Western Conference landscape. Obviously, Diamond Talk just had Jack Fritz on their show last night, so if you haven't already, go check that out. Phil and Jason with DFS, no pun intended, on Thursdays. Phil with Trending for 4 Quarters on Wednesdays. Very, very busy weekend. Of course, Scotty and I with Turf Talk on Thursday and Sunday, getting you ready for week 5. That's going to wrap up today's show. Of course, DSM Media is brought to you by Manscaped. So go to manscaped.com. Whatever you get, type in our promo code DSM. You can see it on the bottom of your screen. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with our promo code. Go help us out. Go do and use that promo code. Also, last thing, merch. Guys, like I said, go at DSM_media on Twitter. In our link tree in the bio, our TeePublic account is the first link to come up. We got some Turf Talk, some Phaithful Fanatics, and some DSM merch. UPS, I ordered a week and a half ago. Where is my product? Told me Saturday. It's Monday. Still not here. For myself, for Gint, for Scotty, for DSM Media, have a nice night, and go Birds.